count down.
3, 1, 2, 3, Cardinals!
And get this one going. Red's always scouting the competition, and we are bringing you all the best plays of the week. Coach Stork gets the guys ready, and we promise we won't let this show go to the dogs, because that would be rough. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
I'm Howie Shapiro.
And next to me, the very punny Howie Shapiro.
Our show's going to the dog. Another action-packed show. We got a lot
of stuff to go through,
Yep.
and not quite as last minute thrown together. We're going to have a much better show, but we've got a lot of stuff to talk about,
We
as
do.
you mentioned.
Always.
And so we'll start right away talking about the baseball team playing pretty good ball right now. They started or finished last week, I should say, with a win over Irondale in a close one, 7-6.
Yeah, they're playing really well, hitting the ball well, as you see there. A nice win for them. Would have liked to have been a little better margin between that. Irondale was able to score some runs late in the game, but they're playing well.
Yeah, Justin Reeves, a couple of hits in the game. Merkel driving in one run and scoring 2 more. Schoolmeister had an RBI as well. Wojciechowski gets the win on the hill. Cardinals then on Thursday played Osseo, and they beat the Orioles. Another 1-run game and a high score, 9-8. They win over the Orioles.
Another game where they're hitting the ball really well. You can see it there, and they're scoring just enough runs to get the game on the win column.
Yeah, the Cardinals back on a win streak when they welcomed Grand Rapids to the complex on Friday.
There you are.
All right. Cardinals back on a win streak when they welcome Grand Rapids to the complex on Friday afternoon. The Thunderhawks starting a 3-game road trip to the Twin Cities, hoping to find some consistency in their play. But the Cardinals got to them early and made sure to keep their win streak growing. Coon Rapids starts the scoring in the second. Runner at first, nobody out. Jake Dumovic delivers on the hit and run. A drive over the left fielder's head. Jared Crawford is going to come all the way around to score on the double. He's got great wheels, and since he was already on the run, no problem scoring easily. Still in the second, runners in second and third. Cody Thompson, the single to left to Movic, and Brennan Butler will score. Coon Rapids has a 3-0 lead after 2 innings. Move to the third. Justin Reeves turns on a 3-2 pitch. A line drive home run to the left increases the Cardinals' lead to 4. First dinger of the year for Reeves, just the second for the Cardinals this season. Move to the 5th inning. Dumovic, with 2 runners in scoring position, seeks this one down the third base line. Dumovic finished 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and 3 RBI. Cardinals really open it up in the 5th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tyler Wojciechowski, he's going to unload him. Double to the gap in left center will drive in 3, pushing the Cardinals' lead to 9-2. And that would be the final. Coon Rapids winning big over Grand Rapids on a Friday afternoon.
It was a nice win for them. They were impressive. They pitched well, and they hit the ball really well. You talked about Jake Dumovic. We'll talk a little more about him in the next game coming up. But, you know, some of the guys in the bottom half of that lineup had been hitting the ball, really producing for this club.
Well, and 4th straight win for the Cardinals, and they're putting up big numbers when they're doing it. That's what they needed to see, was those bats warming up as the weather did. And just a couple weeks away, really, from playoff time.
Crazy.
Already.
It goes quickly. Well, spring quarter always goes
It does
the
indeed.
quickest. Well, the Cardinals came into this week riding that 4-game win streak and really feeling good about the way they're playing. They hosted new conference rival Spring Lake Park on Monday after a slow start. Panthers had won 4 of 5 of their previous games, and so this would be a battle between 2 teams trying to stay hot. Cardinals waste no time in this one. Bottom of the first, Wojo with runners at second and third. Nobody out, grounds to short, but Noah Wolf scores from third, and Coon Rapids is on the board. Just a couple of batters later, as you'll see coming up here. Runners at the corners, Justin Reeves grounds to second. The Panthers get the force at 2, but the relay pulls White off the base. Reeves is able to reach. Valder scores on the play, and the Cards going to lead 2-0. No more scoring into the 4th. Spring Lake Park's Antonio Zepeda lines to left. Ben McKendon scores, cuts the lead in half. The Cardinals are going to answer in the bottom half of that inning. Jared Crawford with the single to score Mike Zimbeck. They're going to score 3 in the 4th, 1 more in each of the 5th and 6th inning. That's more than enough for Connor Boone. He goes this giving up just 1 run on 6 hits with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Cardinals win their 4th straight with a 7-1 victory.
Also, fielded his position quite well. Turned a double play after giving up the leadoff single in the 7th. Started the 1-6-3 double play. Always love to see guys throwing well, but also fielding their position well. And he had a very nice outing against the Panthers.
Jared Crawford, another player that got inserted into the lineup playing center field, got a couple of hits in that game. Scored a couple of runs. Just a good ball player, getting opportunity again from the bottom half of that lineup to get some production.
Well, and he's definitely got speed to burn when he gets on the base paths. Cardinals at Andover on Wednesday. They're at Hill Murray on Friday. And the schedule never slows down because of the fast pace of the spring. Well, moving to softball with wins Monday and Tuesday, the softball team had a 3-game streak heading into Wednesday's game against new conference rival Irondale. The Knights were 5-5 and coming in off a victory that had ended their worst skid of the year. Both teams trying to keep positive momentum going as we approach crunch time for the regular season. Irondale starts the scoring in the 2nd. They get their bats going and take advantage of a couple of Cardinals errors in the inning. Maggie Schley reaching and Ashley Brueggemann scoring on the overthrow from short. That made it 3-0 Knights. Delaney Kohler up next, and she drops it in short right center. One of her 4 hits in the game. She drove in 4 runs for Irondale. More momentum in the 3rd. Lindsey Swanson gets all of the 3-2 pitch. A 2-run home run to left to start another big offensive inning for Irondale. They score 6 and lead 10-0. Cardinals down to their final out in the bottom of the 5th when Mackenzie Wilkins keeps their hopes alive. Big drive over the head of the fielder and left. Cece Orlikowski and Cassie Brown will score. Wilkins races around the bases and is in relatively easy with a triple. That only delayed the inevitable. Unfortunately, Irondale scored 7 in the top of the 6th and won 17-3.
Yeah, ouch. They score a couple of runs to keep the game going, and then Irondale comes back and pounds it and ends up getting that win.
And it was problems in the field early. The pitching was solid, and they just couldn't get the bats going until it was a little bit too late.
Unfortunately.
Softball team then on Thursday rather, bouncing back with a victory over Osseo. Similar to how the baseball team is playing, getting the victories.
Scored a lot of runs, getting the one-run
win, whatever it takes. Whitney Gregg 3 for 4 in this one, had a couple of RBI. Kennedy Kerr drove in 3 in that game, and Sam Anderson ended up getting the victory by going the distance.
Well, the bounce-back win over Osseo. The Cardinals going into the weekend, but Monday, it's time to go back to work. Spring Lake Park looking to make some noise in the inaugural season in the Northwest Suburban. Nice job, Tom, in there with the teleprompter. Panthers won their first 8 of 9 and their first 10 since then, however. They had lost 5 of 6. No score until the top of the 3rd when the Panthers pounced. Runner at 3rd with no one out. Haley Jones with a hit right back through the box. Gabby Luoma will trot home and score easily. We're still in the 3rd. Jada Stewart at the runner at 2nd with 2 outs. Sierra Ryland sneaks a single down the line to left. Stewart isn't slowing down. She turns and heads home. The throw is off the line. That made it 4-0 Spring Lake Park. And they're going to add one more before the end of the inning. Bria Parrish, the looper to right center. Ryland was off with the sound of the bat and will score another run to make it a 5-0 lead. Panthers with another big inning in the 4th. Maddie Wallerup sneaks this one through the infield. Sarah Fruznia will come home to score. Then the next batter is Katie Thunberg. She scores, sends it to left, just out of the reach of Whitney Gregg. Wallerup is going to race all the way around the bases, scoring from 2nd with a slide at the plate. And a good call by Pete Larkin. And that made it 7-0. Panthers win 10-0 in 6 innings, and another tough loss that time for the softball team. Couldn't get those bats going.
Yeah, and it's really hot or cold the way their season is going. Started out cold, they got on a hot streak, and now it's been a bit of up and down for the Cardinals the last week or so.
Yep.
And the Cardinals playing Anoka this afternoon. We did not get those results before today's show. We will get them by next week. They're at Andover on Wednesday, and they host Mound West Tonka in a night contest at Alphalin Park on Friday night. And Howie?
We'll be there. Hopefully the weather will be a little better than it was the last time we were at Alphalin Park.
We can only hope. Tennis team, their schedule very busy as well. It starts with a game last Tuesday against Andover. The Cardinals sneaking out a victory 4-3 over the Huskies. Aaron Bauer, a 6-1, 6-4 victory at second single. Stephen Yang 7-5, 6-2 at third singles. A couple more straight set victories at first doubles and third doubles, and that gave the Cardinals the 4-3 win. On Wednesday, the Cardinals hosting North St. Paul, and they beat up on the Polars 6-1. The final, Aaron Bauer winning relatively easily at first singles, 6-0, 6-3. Bobby Yang, 6-2, 6-1. Victor at second singles. Same score for his younger brother at third. Alex Fish wins in similar but reverse fashion, 6-1, 6-2 at fourth singles. And then Brian Grimmer getting a victory at first doubles, 6-1, 6-3. Cardinals opened this week's schedule with a familiar and difficult non-conference opponent from Roseville. The Raiders were once a conference opponent, but that was long before most of these players were born. One thing that hasn't changed, though, is that they bring a quality team to the court every match. Nearly ideal conditions at the Bob Pivot courts for Monday's match. Aaron Bauer, as we talked about, moving up to first singles, and he plays it pretty close with the Raiders' top guy. He is going to lose in straight sets, however, 3-6, 5-7. Bobby Yang playing at second singles, and he has a nice afternoon. Controls this match from start to finish and wins 6-0, 6-3. Great backhanded winner right there. Younger brother Stephen Yang serving at third singles, and what a match he has in this one. He loses the first set 6-7, but Stephen battles back and wins 6-0, 6-0 for the three-set victory. Alex Fish playing for the Cardinals at four singles, and great all-around play on this point. He's at the net, he's on the baseline. He's going to run to his right, run to his left, and finally gets the winner down the court. Fish loses, however, at 3-6, 0-6. Ellis Sky and Drew Grimmer in the first doubles court for the Cardinals. They play well, but just come up short. They lose 4-6, 6-2, 6-7. Third doubles also lost to nail biter 5-7, 6-7. Cardinals lose a very close 5-2. You think 5-2? Oh, that was one-sided.
Yeah,
but,
no, all the matches
all
close.
of the matches very, very close.
Yep.
And the Cardinals just a game, even a point in some places away from having a match go the other way.
Yeah, and they're turning their season around. They start off a little bit slow, and we got to see them a short time ago, and since then, outside of this match, they've been doing a pretty good job of getting those W's.
Well, and they're played Champlain Park this afternoon. We'll have those results for you next week on Sportsnight. They host Totino on Thursday, and they are at Elk River next Monday. And Elk River, one of those highly ranked and highly regarded teams here in the state of Minnesota. The track team at the Blaine Invitational last week on Tuesday. The boys first, they finished in sixth place. Palmer finished second in the pole vault. 4x100 relay team took third place. 4x8 finished fourth. Kauk was fourth in the shot put as well. Cooper, sixth place in the long jump, 19 feet, 4.75 inches. And Nate Muggenberg was ninth place in the 1 mile run. On the girls' side, fourth place, 56 points. Elise Weimholt, first place finish in the 1 mile run. Kaylee Harris, first place in the 300-meter hurdles. And I meant to write down which was which. Some of those are Brielle, and some of those are Brianna. I believe Brielle is the high jump and the 100-meter, and Brianna is the 400-meter dash. But the Clark sisters getting it done, a first, a second, and a third. Ackerman finished second in the high jump, and Barron finished third in the pole vault.
We'll check your results after the show and see how you did.
They also competed in the mega meetup in Sauk Rapids over the weekend, but I could not find those results posted online, and perhaps I may be able to track them down before next week's show. Track team, the Section 5 AA True Team meet began this afternoon, so that's obviously a big deal. We'll have those results for you next week on Sports Night at Armstrong next Tuesday, along with the Blaine Bengals. Boys golf team, a couple of conference matches to start this week. They started at Golden Valley on Monday. Cardinals finished in 13th place. Jeremy Howells, the round of the day with a 91, a 42 on the back half. Michael Elson, Blake Novinska, and Travis Hess all come in with 95s on the scorecard. They take three totally different ways to get to that 95, but all end with the same mark on their scorecard. Tyler Getz was just one stroke behind them, and Ryan Blockfellner finished with a 98. They played again this afternoon. The Cardinals finished in 13th place. Travis Hess in 88. Tyler Getz in 89. So a couple of scores getting better from Monday to Tuesday. Blockfellner in 94. He took 4 strokes off of his game. Elson takes 1 off of his. And Nick Hulseth comes in with a 96. So a much better round actually today than it was yesterday for the boys golf team.
The weather's been cooperating. The weather's been nice too, so they've been able to get out on the course and trying to lower those scores.
Well, they are at Majestic Oaks next Tuesday, and then they are at Victory Links next Thursday. So a couple more. Got a little bit of time.
A little bit.
They got a week off.
Yep.
But then a couple of back-to-back big Northwest Suburban Conference matches. Girls golf in the Purple Hawk Invitational. That was held on Monday the 27th. Coon Rapids finished 8th place in that event. Tina McManus, a very respectable 85 for the day. Peterson finished with a 112. So did Sarah McDonald. Morgan Buckley at a 114, and Herman finished with a 117 on the day. On Wednesday of last week, the Cardinals, or Thursday rather, took on Champlain Park. This is the first head-to-head battle of the Northwest Suburban Conference schedule. Cardinals lose 221 to 194 for the Rebels. Tina McManus in with the best round of the day of 50. Sarah McDonald behind her at 53. Tara Peterson at 59, as did Megan Lund. Morgan Buckley at 64, and Bissett finished with a 67. Friday.
A lot of
Cardinals,
golf.
yeah, we're playing a lot of golf.
A lot of golf.
This is the Northwest Suburban Conference's new mid-season tournament. Normally they only had one conference tournament at the end of the year. This time, because of the addition of 3 more teams, they put in a mid-season 18-hole tournament. Cardinals finished with a 424. Tina McManus leading the way with a 103. Tara Peterson a 105. Allie Bissett a 106. Sarah McDonald a 110. Rachel Bissett a 114. And Morgan Buckley a 115. But they keep playing.
More.
They played today. Shot at 222 up in Elk River against the Elks. Tara Peterson at 54. Tina McManus at 55. Same score for Sarah McDonald, Allie Bissett at 58, and Morgan Buckley at 59. And their scores actually, when you look at them, especially in quick succession right there, and you can kind of see it, they're staying pretty consistent. But they need, in order to be competitive with the kind of competition that they face, they need to see massive reductions. I mean, 5 to 7 strokes per player in order to be, in those games with those higher end teams in the conference.
Well, hats off to the coaches who have events today, the day of our show, and get them into us. We really appreciate that. It's great.
Girls golf team at Blaine next Thursday. They host Anoka. Or they at Blaine this Thursday. That's over at Majestic Oaks.
Yep.
Then they host Anoka at Bunker Hills a week from today, Tuesday.
The new addition to conference gives the boys lacrosse team a better chance to be successful in the Northwest Suburban. After getting their first conference win of the season against Irondale on Monday, the Cardinals played host to Spring Lake Park on Wednesday. The Panthers had just 1 win on the year, and this one was going to go right down to the final buzzer. Coon Rapids starting the scoring in the first. Nice look to find Nick Roloff with the space to shoot. He cashes in, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. It's tied at 1 after 1. Second quarter, Cardinals trailing, but not for long. Alex Brovic steps into the shot, blows it past the keeper. He's going to even up the score at 2. The Panthers able to put an edge on before the half. Daniel Chebek drawing the defense with a run to the right, flips it to Maccabi Stahara. Easy one for me to say. Who fires to the back of the net. Spring Lake Park up 4-2 at the break. Panthers able to open up a lead a little more in the third. Long run, as you saw there, for Drew Nelson. It pays off to deposit to the back of the net. Spring Lake Park up 6-2 at that point. Cardinals come back to make it interesting, but unfortunately they're going to lose by a score of 8-6.
Well, and it's good for them to have those games where they can be more competitive, because some of the teams, again, in this conference are among the state's elite.
Absolutely.
And at this point, it's hard for the Cardinals to take much positive out of some of the contests where they're losing to much better programs.
Without a doubt. And again, a new coach, new systems, new program to start over again. They're trying to find that right combination.
Yeah, the boys team they were at Osseo Park Center on Monday night this week, and the Oriole Pirates fly away with this one, 19-1.
They did.
Not a lot of positives, again, that you can take out of a 19-1 loss. You can take a lot out of a game where you kept the team close and lost 8-6.
Well, yeah, and then you're able to cut into that lead and make a contest of it. But it's a tough one. You're down 19-1. It's tough to evaluate.
Yeah. Cardinals host Andover on Wednesday, and Howie,
we'll be there,
and they will be at Champlain Park on Friday. Girls lacrosse team taking on Spring Lake Park last week, and they shellacked the Panthers 16-6. Heidi Hanula leading the way with 4 goals, 2 assists. Allie Erickson had 3 of each to have 6 points as well. Bailey Ryan, 4 goals and an assist. Lily Hackett had a goal and a couple of helpers, and Helen Nelson chipped in with a pair of goals herself. The win over Spring Lake Park was number 3 in a row for the Cardinals. They came into this week looking to stretch that streak. On Monday, they welcomed the team from Osseo Park Center to the complex. The Oriole Pirates came into the game on a 2-game win streak of their own, just hoping they could challenge the mighty Cardinals on their home field. This one stays close early, but the Cardinals able to spread their wings a little late in the first half. Nice feed to find Helen Nelson right out front for the goal. That put Coon Rapids up 2-1. It's all about possession and speed in this game, and Allie Erickson has both right here. Just sprints past the defense, slips a low backhand to the net. Erickson finished with the team high 4 goals and 6 points. Another long run. This time it's Allie Misquick taking it right to the net. No defender, no problem. That made it 4-1 Cardinals. And they weren't going to slow down. Jessica Bolick with the rock. Great look to Bailey Ryan down low. She comes out front to score. Coon Rapids up comfortably 6-2 at the half. They pick up right where they left off in the second. Great defense in the offensive end. Nelson jumps for the steal, then makes for the net. To finish, she had a hat trick Monday night. Captain Heidi Hanula gets in on the scoring too. She had a goal and 2 assists. Cardinals run away with this one, 14-4. The final back-to-back 10-run games.
Nice wins. Coach Joy always
10-goal games.
Always has a tendency. He sends us an email after the game, and I usually wait for it to come. I get a glass of milk and a cookie. I sit down and I read it and I go through it and I study
Analyze it.
And he's very happy with the way his team is playing right now. I mean, his defense is playing extraordinary. His goaltending is playing well, but they're scoring a lot of goals. And he knew coming in he's going to have some firepower. They're top the conference right now, and they're playing really good lacrosse.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's something that's a little different. I mean, some of the teams that they've had in their short history here have spread the ball around, but several of their better teams have had 1 or maybe 2 girls up front that can really get the job done. Here you've got 6,
absolutely
7 girls getting in on the score sheet every night, and that's hard to defend.
Oh, without a doubt, and they're picking up steam as they go. I don't see them letting up at this point, and it's going to be difficult for some of the other teams in the conference, to keep up with them. But things are a little bit close at the top. They're playing well.
Yeah, they're at Andover on Wednesday of this week. They host Totino Grace next Monday. I believe we get a chance to see them again. My first time this season.
Yes.
A week from Wednesday.
I believe you're right.
I believe
that is correct.
It's before the month is out. We got it coming up quick. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Of course, we got playoffs right around the corner, believe it or not, for this very short spring season. But here's what we have in the immediate future. We have boys lacrosse taking on the Andover Huskies on Wednesday, and then softball under the lights at Al Flynn Park against Mound West Taka on Friday. On Monday, we're back at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Armstrong Falcons.
Senior night that evening, so it should be fun.
But that is going to do it for this edition of CTN Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Continue to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joey Young. Say goodnight.